Now, it's been an unusually fierce and fearful start to the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season as Hurricane Beryl has strengthened into a potentially catastrophic Category 5 storm. The World Meteorological Organization says that Beryl has set the tone for a very dangerous hurricane season ahead. And Nick Harper now joins us from Washington, D.C. with more on the preparations for that. Nick, how serious is a hurricane season in the U.S. and in the area surrounding it, and how long does it last?
Well, Mark, usually we'd see the hurricane season last 6 months, starting at the beginning of June, running through to the end of November. But it is slightly unusual to be seeing the type of hurricane that we're seeing at this time of year. That's largely because the peak activity takes place between the middle of August and the middle of October, and particularly intensifies around the beginning to middle of September. What we're seeing here with Beryl is a hurricane that is already shattering records in terms of how quickly it's intensified. The fact that it's a Category 5 storm taking place this early in the season, taking place in June, these are all things that have never happened before, and that's really why it is worrying scientists. They're saying that this is setting a precedent for future hurricane seasons that they feel will be particularly bad. We've heard from the World Meteorological Organization saying it's setting a very dangerous tone, also saying that there's going to be a very, very active and very dangerous hurricane season in the Atlantic. They say all of this is due to much warmer temperatures. Normally, the temperatures of the ocean would not be this hot this early in the season. That, of course, being linked to climate change. But scientists are saying because the temperatures of the ocean is as hot as it currently is, that's why we're seeing this Category 5 storm passing through. And the fact that it's hitting the area that it's hitting, the Eastern Caribbean region, and then moving towards Mexico, that is also unusual. So a whole range of factors taking place at the same time, but all of it very much worrying scientists about what could potentially happen during the rest of the hurricane season, but also what it might mean for future hurricane seasons in future years.
Also, Nick, what kind of precautions do people take or are expected to take now that Beryl, as you said, has set a very bad precedent for the hurricane season?
Well, in terms of what communities can do, just bear in mind that this hurricane is passing through often very small, remote islands. Some of them are rural communities that are simply not set up for storms of these magnitude. We've seen some communities being evacuated from their homes, being put in storm shelters where those are available, but we're dealing with 250-kilometre-an-hour winds. And that is also bringing intense storm surges and flooding to those areas. We've heard from the St. Vincent and Grenadines Prime Minister, who has talked about intense destruction in their island communities, saying that around 90% of the homes have either been destroyed or partially damaged. We are likely to see this hurricane now moving on to Jamaica, likely to be passing over the island on Wednesday. The Prime Minister there is telling people to take the hurricane as a serious threat, also telling them to seek higher and safer ground, and warning them that if they are on the coast to move inland, because we could see some potentially life-threatening storm surges within those areas.
Nick Harper in Washington, D.C., thanks very much.